This summer, click into easier yard cleanup with same-day delivery from the Home Depot. Click into clearing overgrown grass or weeds with effortless gas-like power. And click into the convenience of a battery platform compatible with over 250 tools with the Milwaukee M18 Fuel Trimmer, now for just $199. Click into power with 4th of July savings now at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Order select and stock items by 4 p.m., subject to availability.
What's good? It's Colleen Witt, and Eating While Broke is back for Season 3. Brought to you by the Black Effect Podcast Network and iHeartRadio. We're serving up some real stories and life lessons from people like Van Lathan, DC Young Fly, Bone Thugs and Harmony, and many more. They're sharing the dishes that got them through their struggles and the wisdom they gained along the way. We're cooking up something special, so tune in every Thursday. Listen to Eating While Broke on the Black Effect Podcast Network, iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Presented by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey! No, too basic. Hi there. Still no. What about, hello, handsome? Ugh, is it possible to give yourself the ick? Yep, it's possible. Ugh.
Well, that's why we're changing how you start conversations on Bumble. You can now make the first move or not. With opening moves, you simply choose a question to be automatically sent to your matches, then sit back and let your matches start the chat. Download Bumble and try it for yourself.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's also you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
"Let me just run this by my lawyer" is a really helpful phrase to have in your back pocket. Legal Shield has been giving legal peace of mind for over 50 years. They connect you to a vetted law firm in your state for an affordable monthly fee. Want an experienced set of eyes on a contract's fine print? Or you finally want to get that will done? Legal Shield has a dedicated group of lawyers who have your back, no matter what the future brings. Sign up today at LegalShield.com/iHeart. PPLSI does not provide legal representation or advice. See a plan for complete terms.
Episode 417, How Kelly used social media to stay motivated and pay off $46,000 of debt.
Welcome to the Frugal Friends podcast, where you'll learn to save money, embrace simplicity, and live a richer life. Here are your hosts, Jen and Jill.
Welcome to Frugal Friends podcast. My name is Jen.
My name is Jill.
And it is debt-free summer. We are here with another debt-free story of one of you guys, our listeners, who has paid off debt. And we interviewed her back in late 2022, early 2023. And we put all these debt-free stories on YouTube, and we are replaying them on the podcast to expand on those interviews and give some updates and just some more insight into debt payoff in general.
We love a good debt payoff story, and especially when it comes from somebody within our community. This was such a fun series that we did. So again, you can check it out on YouTube as well if you want to see what our janky Frugal Friends background looked like at the time.
Oh gosh.
But also stick with us here because, like Jen said, we give an update on how Kelly is doing currently, and that's super fun.
Yes, but first, this episode is brought to you by It is the first day of summer officially. And you know what that means? It's time to start saving for Christmas.
Yes.
It's time to start saving for the holidays now.
Wow.
Okay? So don't wait. Don't wait till October or November. It's too late. It's too late then. Start now. Open a separate high yield savings account from what you already have. frugalfriendspodcast.com/CIT. CIT is the one we're liking right now. Open that high yield savings account and just start putting $100 a month in it. Okay. And then you should have more than enough to afford the things that matter most to you about the holidays. It's not about affording everything. It's about being able to afford the things that matter most to you without guilt, without stress. So frugalfriendspodcast.com/CIT, open a high yield savings account and start saving for Christmas. That's what summer's all about.
Well done. A lot of us do need this reminder. It's a great reminder.
Yeah.
And CIT is just always a good reminder.
It's just good. It's just good to remind you that they're, over 4% APY on their high yield savings account. It's fantastic. So if you love these debt-free stories, we've got a couple already in that we've just recently done. We've got episode 415, how Catherine paid back $27,000 in student loans. We have our friend Megan, and we have all summer, all the rest of summer. We've got 10 of these, to share with you. But we are specific. I particularly love Kelly's story. She paid off $46,000 of student loan debt in 20 months. And a key element to staying motivated was her use of social media. And that kind of played a part. Social media, Instagram was kind of coming more of a part of the debt-free community, went right at the end of my debt payoff journey. So I was able to do a countdown on my Instagram when we went debt-free, and then we went live on Facebook when we made that last payment. So this was a special one for me to hear because it is a really good way to stay motivated and to celebrate wins. And so much of social media is negative, but I think we can use it as a tool, as a powerful tool in our benefit. And we can use other people's examples on how to model that.
Yeah, you even have used social media to help really keep you on track and give others motivation for a no spend challenge this past January. So it has been a tool you specifically, Jen, have used. And I think we've encouraged other people on the Frugal Friends journey that, especially when you can't find people in your own network, finding people online or even doing some of these things yourself just to keep your own self accountable to what you said you're going to accomplish. It can be a really useful tool. It's one of those things that can get us to spend, but we can also leverage it to help us along our financial journeys, kind of just depending on how we approach it. So she really leveraged it well. I'm excited for you all to hear how it went for her. And we've got another inspiring story for you. This one comes from Kelly, who's going to share with us what her debt-free journey entailed. Kelly, thanks for being here with us.
Thanks for having me. This is really exciting. I think we can't share our story enough, and if it inspires somebody else, I'm all for it.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about you, Kelly.
Yeah. So my name is Kelly Sjostrom and currently live in Portland, Oregon. We moved here about a year ago from the Minneapolis area in Minnesota. And so a little bit of a change, but I am a project manager by day and personal finance nerd by night. I got started on this journey after realizing one day that I had a ton of student loan debt and I was totally emotionally overwhelmed and done with it. And so I've just been kind of doing this personal finance story, which I think a lot of obviously the people here relate to. But I found that I was just somebody that likes to go hiking and I like to go out to eat in restaurants and I want to go on vacation. And I wanted to figure out a way to make that more embedded into my life naturally without having to listen to these white buttoned up people that have opinions on what you should and shouldn't do with your money. And so, newlywed, I guess, mother of a dog and a cat. And so just, living my best life that I can in my 30s here.
That's great. Thanks for the introduction. You mentioned that there was a time when you realized the amount of debt that you had. Was that an actual moment that you can remember, or do you think it was more gradual? What was your experience?
So I always knew I had student loan debt, right? It didn't even really faze me taking out the loans in college. It was just a fact of life. When I was done with college, I was just making the payments. And of course, I would complain about them every chance that I got. And I would just feel and talk about how poor and broke I always felt, because these monthly payments were just kind of like taking up a lot of my income. Looking back, it was also a lot of other problems, but I do remember the moment where I had that I'm done moment. And so it was this gradual storyline, but I remember I was listening to just a podcast, and it probably was Dave Ramsey or somebody, a coworker, I think, recommended it. And I remember just being at work and thinking, okay, I'm just going to log into my student loan accounts and see how much student loan debt I had. I didn't think it was like a problem at that point. I had been paying them off for 8 years, and I was like, I've got to be pretty darn close to paying these things off, right? And so when I logged in and I had paid maybe 10 grand in the last 8 years, that's when I had my like breaking moment of like, this cannot be what my life is, because I spent so many years thinking I was doing a great job and making progress. And I know so many people that were deferring their loans and so many people that were paying less than their minimums. And I was doing like, quote unquote, all the right things. And so I really thought I was ahead of the curve. And then when I logged in, I was kind of panic attack moment of everything that I've been doing has been kind of doing nothing.
Oof, yeah.
I feel that in a real way.
Yeah. So how much student loan debt were you specifically looking at?
So when I logged into my computer, it was $46,514.91. I recommend you write that exact number down because you will want to know what that number was, because so many people will ask you like, how much did you pay off? And the sad part is I don't even know how much student loan debt I had. And I don't think that that's that uncommon. I am guessing I had around 60, or maybe give or take 5 grand. I have not a clue, but I know that after making 8 years of payments, and looking at how much was applied to principal, that there was not that much damage that I did in those 8 years.
Oh, yes.
Dang.
So what is the first thing that you did after you saw that number?
So I became like super like OCD about like, okay, I need the charts. I need to write everything down. I need to figure out a plan. I need to figure out how much extra I can pay per month. And I didn't have a budget. I didn't track my spending, like all the things that we talk about all the time, right? And so it was getting to the point of how do I know how much that extra that I can afford? And so at that point, I was also waitressing on top of my full-time job. I was thinking, okay, I can work an extra 2 shifts a month. 2 shifts a month isn't bad when you're in your low to mid 20s and you have no responsibilities, right? And I was like, let's say worst case scenario, make $100 a shift. I'll pay an extra $200 a month. And that was just kind of where my logic came from. I didn't look at where is my wasteful spending going? Where are all the opportunities where I don't even have to work anymore? I can just kind of refine as I go. And I quickly figured out that $200 extra a month was pretty easy. The one thing that I did that I think was a game changer for me is I posted on Instagram how much debt I had. And I said in the post, and I love going back to that post, like scrolling the millions of photos. And I wrote this long story about like why I was posting this, how much debt I had, and that like I was making a commitment to myself to pay it off. Right. And at that point, I didn't realize there were people that were watching my story. And so every month I would say, I paid off an extra $100. I paid off an extra $50, like whatever it was. But then as you stay motivated and get really excited about, oh my God, I'm actually seeing progress. Then I was able to get up to like over $1,000 a month extra that I was paying towards my debt.
That's so powerful, that power of community and giving other people permission by sharing your own vulnerability, like with discretion, but like being willing to share things that other people won't gives others permission to do hard things. And then also in turn supports you doing the hard things, which that's so beautiful.
Absolutely. And I didn't intend for anybody to engage. The only people on my Instagram were my friends from college and high school and that kind of stuff. But I would like go to dinner with a friend. And I think, like, no shame on my friends, I think in the beginning it was kind of this like, not like it wasn't a joke, but it was about like, oh, Kelly, did you make any progress? Like people thinking that it wasn't going to be this big thing. And then I think when I paid off all of my debt in such a short amount of time, people kind of had this jaw-dropping moment and they were like, oh, wait a minute, like she actually was doing something big. And it's actually something that, and I think it started to make people think like, well, crap, if she did it, what should I be doing in my life? And so I think it started off on this like conversational piece that people would say, oh, how are you doing? Like, you know, whatever. And then it became, oh, crap, like big things are actually happening. And she made it look fairly easy. And so then I started getting people asking me like, well, what did you do?
I mean, it is pretty funny. It sounds like you've got some friends that were inspired by what happened. And I think that is another aspect to the communal piece of this. When you draw others in or you put yourself out there, it can draw their attention to their own circumstances and think through, well, are there any parts of this that I want to be implementing?
Yeah, I think it's just like anything. And I compare it a lot to like compound interest, which is a really easy one in this finance game. But like, there's no better time to start than like today. Like you can't wish you started I wish I would have started when I was 22. Like I could be hung on that thing forever. Right. The fact that I started when I was like 29 or 30, whatever it was, did a lot of damage. Like that was 8 years of me just throwing money out the window, and I could have had compound interest. I could have changed my life sooner. I could have got rid of a lot more stress. I could have bought a home sooner, like all these compounding things. But in reality, we can't undo the past. And so what can you do today? And the answer is just start today. So whatever your first step is, for me, it was just logging into my student loan accounts and to figure out, how much debt am I even talking about here? Is this as big of a crisis as I think it is? And I didn't think it was, which was really sad because it was. I was really proud of myself and I had no reason to be. But then you might log in. I work with so many people where you log in and you're like, it's actually not as bad as I thought. I've just been hiding from this scenario. And so the first thing you do is just take your first step, whatever that is.
Yes.
AI might be the most important new computer technology ever. It's storming every industry, and literally billions of dollars are being invested. So buckle up. The problem is that AI needs a lot of speed and processing power. So how do you compete without costs spiraling out of control? It's time to upgrade to the next generation of the cloud. Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, or OCI. OCI is a single platform for your infrastructure, database, application development, and AI needs. OCI has 4 to 8 times the bandwidth of other clouds, offers one consistent price instead of variable regional pricing. And of course, nobody does data better than Oracle. So now you can train your AI models at twice the speed and less than half the cost of other clouds. If you want to do more and spend less like Uber, 8x8, and Databricks Mosaic, take a free test drive of OCI at oracle.com/strategic. That's oracle.com/strategic. Oracle.com/strategic.
How do I get my partner on board with our finances? It's a top question we get from listeners, and we've realized it's a game changer when there are tools that allow you to work together better, like Monarch.
Monarch is the top-rated all-in-one personal finance app. It gives you a comprehensive view of all your accounts, investments, transactions, and more. Create custom budgets, track progress toward financial goals, and collaborate with your partner. And now get an extended 30-day free trial when you go to monarchmoney.com/frugal.
Unlike other personal finance apps, Monarch's simple design makes it so easy to set up and manage your household finances. Plus, they have built-in collaboration features so you can invite your partner at no extra cost.
After trying out Monarch myself, I understand why it's the top-rated personal finance app. And right now, listeners of this show will get an extended 30-day free trial when you go to monarchmoney.com/frugal. That's monarchmoney.com/frugal for your extended 30-day free trial. Go to monarchmoney.com/frugal for an extended 30-day free trial.
Hey, no, too basic. Hi there. Still no. What about, hello, handsome? Ugh, is it possible to give yourself the ick? Yep, it's possible. Ugh.
Well, that's why we're changing how you start conversations on Bumble. You can now make the first move or not. With opening moves, you simply choose a question to be automatically sent to your matches, then sit back and let your matches start the chat. Download Bumble and try it for yourself.
When you're in the market for a new car, you want a vehicle that conquers your daily commute, easily handles the elements, and looks great too. You need the reliability of a Toyota and the confidence that your investment will last. Why? Because after all the carpools, shopping trips, and weekends out, you want a car that still has plenty of miles left in it and holds its value for a great trade-in deal. That's where Toyota leads the pack as the #1 resale value brand for 2024, according to Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com. So check out the all-new fully redesigned 25 Camry or test drive a stylish and affordable Corolla sedan or hatchback. And remember, when you choose Toyota, you're not just buying a car for today. You're investing in trade-in value for tomorrow. Visit buyatoyota.com, the official website for deals, for more. Vehicles projected resale value is specific to the 2024 model year. For more information, visit kelleybluebooks.kbb.com. Kelley Blue Book is a registered trademark of Kelley Blue Book Co., Inc. Toyota, let's go places.
Whether you're starting or scaling your company's security program, demonstrating top-notch security practices and establishing trust is more important than ever. Vanta automates compliance for SOC 2, ISO 27001, and more, saving you time and money while helping you build customer trust. Plus, you can streamline security reviews by automating questionnaires and demonstrating your security posture with a customer-facing trust center, all powered by Vanta AI. Over 7,000 global companies like Atlassian, Flow Health, and Quora use Vanta to manage risk and prove security in real time. Get $1,000 off Vanta when you go to vanta.com/special. That's vanta.com/special for $1,000 off.
So let's get into the nitty gritty. Was there, I know you've $46,000 and change of student loans. Was there any other debt? What was the initial plan for paying off? How long did it take in reality? What did that all look like?
Yeah. So the $46,000 was truly student loan debt, but I am not, I also had other debt. So before I started my student loan journey, I think probably, if looking back, what spawned some of this is I paid off my car probably that year or the year before. It was a used car. It wasn't, I think I owed like $8,000 total. So it wasn't a huge deal. But that probably started thinking about, okay, if I paid off my car, what's next? Which I'm sure I did not pay any extra on my car. Let's be very frank, people. There was nothing also extraordinary that happened there. And then I also, in college, because we're all really great at money, right? I studied abroad, put it all on my credit cards, came home, and then my dad was like, okay, girl. And so he helped me learn the world of get a personal loan, pay off the credit cards, and just make this personal loan payment to pay off that debt. So that debt was also gone. So I'm saying this just to say that, yes, my success story is student loans, but there was other debts that came and lessons that came along the way. But when I first started paying my student loans off, and I remember I was just paying like an extra $100, or I was like figuring out I'll pay whatever extra I have to. I thought I was on probably like a 5 to 7 year trajectory. I wasn't on this huge thing. I worked for a nonprofit, and so I was kind of playing the 10-year game, right? But what they don't tell you is there's all these little mini rules of like when you refinance, and that can mess things up. Or if you didn't file paperwork, sometimes you can't retroactive, like go back and do that paperwork. And so there was just a lot of like ifs, ands, or buts. And so I think that was my moment of, okay, I'm not going to wait for the government to pay off my student loans. I'm just going to do it in like the next 5 years if I can. And it just happened to be a lot more quick than that. It was 20 months. It was like, bam. I know. And it wasn't hard, people. Like that's what I like preach every single day. All I had to do was figure out where the heck my money was going, and I just like redirected it. And so you figure out what is important in your life. I still traveled for weddings. I still went to happy hour. I just didn't like obsessively go to happy hour. I didn't spend $300 at happy hour. I spent like $100. So whatever the things are in your life, and I was lucky that I was younger, so I was able to hustle and work more, but I was a single income person. I wasn't making 6 figures during any of that. It's really possible. You just have to like take it into your own hands and do it, because you can't wait for other people to do it for you.
Oh, so inspiring and so realistic. Like it's not always super clean. There's different debts that come along the way. It takes time, but for you it took shorter, which is awesome. Were there any lump sum payments or lump sum amounts of money that you got? Did you sell anything to kind of throw even more money at the debt? How did you make it be that those 20 months?
No, nothing. I probably got like a $200 tax credit that I put towards it. I don't know, but there was nothing like worth mentioning that happened. It was the grind. It was keeping my head down. And eventually I got to the point where I was like, my extra student loan payment is non-negotiable. So that was the first payment that I made for the month. And so I didn't let myself like have life get in the way. I didn't let myself overindulge in certain areas and then use the remaining on my student loans. It was my student loans were number one. And then when I got really good at it, I made multiple student loans payments a month because it was an app. It was easy on my phone. And if I had an extra $100 come through, I just made an extra $100 payment. Then I would add it up at the end of the month. And it adds up to a lot more than what you think it is.
Awesome. And what was your income like? Did it increase over that 20 months at all?
So I was probably making between around $75,000, maybe give or take, because I was waitressing. So, I mean, who knows how much you really make when you're waitressing, right? And so I just say it was for sure under six figures. I wasn't even close to six figures, and the income didn't really change. I went from working 4 shifts a night, like 4 shifts on the nights and weekends, waitressing, still working a day job, because I had to support my lifestyle, right? To working 4 shifts because I was paying off my student loan debt. And I didn't really say no to a lot of things. I really just like got very clear about what is important to me, and clothing and like that sort of thing has never been important to me. So it was really easy to like cut out the random trips to Target where you spend money and you don't even know what you bought. I just got really intentional and I had a very clear goal, and 20 months is no time. Our pandemic has been lasting much longer than 20 months, right?
Whoa, so true. Whoa. Mind blown. Pandemic is longer than the amount of time it took you to pay off your debt. I mean, congratulations, but also there's like some sad pieces in there too. Yeah. So for you now, being debt-free, what has life looked like now? What have you now been able to carry with you into debt freedom at this point?
Yeah. So I became debt-free in like April 2020. So like day one of the pandemic. And so it was easy for me to quit my waitressing job because the waitressing jobs are also gone. But I quit day one, and I had been waitressing since I was like 15, like in high school. And so it felt really good just to live off of my daytime job. And I know a lot of people think they can't work extra jobs, and so they're only working that daytime. And there's a lot of people that also can't work those extra jobs. And so I was just happy to get rid of that because it wasn't an extra job because of my passion. I also went to grad school. I got my MBA. I paid for that entirely in cash. And so I didn't even stress about the loans. I just knew how much I had to save per month. And that was my little sinking fund to make my semester payments. We paid off another vehicle. We obviously have like a 6-month emergency fund, which is upwards of many of thousands of dollars, as people that are on that journey know, which we've had to pull out, luckily, but then refunded again. We're saving for a kitchen remodel. So we have however much saved up for that so far. So it's just allowed me to pay for things in cash. And whether you're a cash person or not, when I say pay for things in cash, I mean, put it on my credit card, get the rewards, pay off my credit card statement. It's not necessarily me pulling money out of my mattress, but it's that flexibility. It's going to a restaurant and getting the appetizer and the dessert and getting 4 margaritas, and you don't care that they're $15 a piece. And it's all of like that stuff that I'm like, this is what's worth it. And knowing that we're maxing out our contributions, and it's just less stress. Like money isn't even a thought. And at sometimes I think maybe it should be more of one. Maybe what am I missing? But the day-to-day filling up my gas tank isn't even like a question. It's not a, do I wait until it's half full or do I wait until it's empty, but then it's going to cost me more money? Like all of those conversations and thoughts that go through my brain are just out the window.
Yes. That is financial freedom. You can go out to eat with us.
Yes.
We will
You sound like a blast
with you for sure.
Absolutely. And like, I was the person, and my friends made fun of me constantly, that was in the Target or Hy-Vee, wherever you're going, the checkout line at the cash. I had my checkbook register, like the physical checkbook register. And people, I'm like not that old. Nobody else had them, but I had one because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't overdrafting, and I wanted to know exactly what my balance was. Like that was my way of reconciling my account. And that's like, now I just have a budgeting app that does the thing in the background. Of course, Derek and I have like our weekly meetings and our budgets and beers quarterly chats, but like, it's just less, all the stats around how many decisions that a person has to make a day. It's like half of those are gone now, which is really great.
That's amazing. Budgets and beers. There's a tip right there.
Yes.
So, all right, it's advice and encouragement time. What would you say to somebody who's in your shoes 5 years ago, just kind of beginning to consider debt payoff?
This is like my soapbox moment. This is the thing that I always, when I talk to friends, family that are like, how did you do it? And they put me on this like thing, and I'm like, this was hard work. Like nothing, I accomplished this because I made some really hard choices that not a lot of people want to dive into. So what I would tell people is get started today, obviously, but dive deep end dive into how much debt you have and how much income you have to actually change that, right? And so figure out exactly where all your money is going. Track your expenses. And when I say track your expenses and when I say budget, people, I'm not talking about how much is your mortgage, your cell phone bill, your electricity. I'm talking about all the tangible things that fluctuate every single month, the restaurants, the alcohol, the groceries, the things that eat up your paychecks. So figure out where all of your money is going and actually make a plan to pay it off. You don't have to pay it off in 20 months like I did. You don't have to pay it off in 3 years. Some people are struggling with a lot of debt. But there are free tools out there to figure out exactly when you can become debt-free. And you are the only person that's making excuses for yourself not to get there. And this is just something that I struggle with so much, because even people that are waiting for the student loan forgiveness from the presidential administration right now, it's going back and forth and back and forth. And all of these people that were like, look, we are getting debt relief. First of all, it's only 10 grand. And a lot of people have a lot more than 10 grand worth of student loan debt. Second of all, don't let these big external powers have control of your life. Like, why are you letting them dictate whether you're going to stress about money every day or not? It is the one thing that really gets me going. And I just wish that every single person that even thought about money as like I'm either not good at it, I'm living paycheck to paycheck, this stresses me out too much, I'm losing sleep, I don't really know where it goes, or the last one that I love is I make too much money to be this broke. And I was that person when I was single and waitressing. If any of those things cross your mind, just like do something about it. Like, I hate complaining about things that we can actually change ourselves. And I guarantee you it's going to be so much easier than what you think it is, but you just have to get started.
Oh, yes, Kelly.
Snaps to that.
Snaps to that. All right. We have come to the time in the program where it is your time to celebrate.
$46,514.91 paid off.
Paid off in 20 months. How would you like to celebrate with us today? The platform is yours.
I'm debt free.
You're debt free. How amazing. Oh, Kelly, thanks for sharing this incredible story with us and inspiring others and encouraging others and just giving some really fantastic tips.
Mm-hmm. I just love Kelly's outlook on life, her outlook on her debt payoff. She is so fun and so practical.
Mm-hmm.
We just had a really good time interviewing her.
Yeah, I think I definitely commiserated or it resonated with me how she tracked her expenses and created a budget. Those were some of the really practical things that were helpful for me. I enjoy looking at details. Not everybody does, but again, you got to find what works for you in your own journey and story. But her tracking of expenses and creating that budget was really crucial for her and understanding where her money was going. And it helped to inform her making of a plan to even be able to pay off this debt in the 20 months that she paid it off in. So
yeah. And something about like her thing about making hard choices and prioritizing debt repayment does lead to faster progress. And I know sometimes that's all we hear, and we try to combat that with the other side, saying like embrace your season, spend in alignment with your values and how those values kind of uniquely, the opportunities that come up uniquely in each season to find some kind of balance. But like for us, we did make a lot of hard choices, and we got, just like Kelly, got a lot of side hustles and really made our debt payoff our number one priority, maybe to a fault, to achieve that faster progress. But there's a difference between going all in and doing something in a way that afterwards leaves you feeling hungover because you did it so hard, and prioritizing it as your number one goal and saying no to other goals and other good opportunities because you've prioritized this one goal, but still allowing yourself to live life. So that's the radical middle. If you really want to pay off debt, you don't have to deprive yourself from everything, but you have to be comfortable making hard choices and sacrifices if you want it to be as number one as a goal as you say it is. So I really loved rethinking about that in hearing this a second time around.
Yeah. So she shared an update with us recently and said, I had a baby and we took out a HELOC to help renovate our kitchen. I'm in the mindset that debt isn't bad, and a new kitchen with a brand new baby was non-negotiable in our eyes. You should have seen the other one. Besides that, we have no consumer debt and we're just enjoying life. Yes. This is a really fun update. And I gotta imagine, Kelly didn't necessarily say this in her update, but having became debt-free feels like it would create a sense of freedom in entering into that next chapter of having a kid. Like, I'm so pleased, Kelly, that you were able to grow your family with some of that debt freedom, but then also be able to have this kind of newfound view of debt as being neutral. We talk about this in our book, that debt is neutral. Yes, it can be really great to live without debt. It can create a lot of freedom, but sometimes we can leverage loans to help us get the things that we need now rather than putting off vital pieces for the future when they're no longer relevant. Thinking that we're going to have the money for it. And I can understand that sometimes home renovations, depending on how dilapidated it is, like our kitchen absolutely needed. Our
kitchen too.
Like the cabinets were falling off the wall. It was a hazard. So like I can understand that sometimes we can view these things as just luxuries, but depending on what it is, it can be worth taking out a mindful amount of money to make your home safe.
Yeah. And it's all a combination of need and want, right? Like, you can absolutely function in a kitchen from the 80s like we were doing, but we didn't want to. And kitchens sell houses, so it increases the value of our home. So we didn't have to. So we didn't. So there's always this balance. Like we try to justify these decisions in our head by like, oh, I can't, function in this. Like I have to do this. But like, there's also power in saying like, I don't want to, and I have been financially responsible enough to not have to. So there's celebration in that, and knowing that it's not going to put you under, and that you are financially responsible enough still, like you've proven you are and you have been, that you can go into that with confidence and not guilt.
Yeah. Both of us, since becoming debt-free, have taken on new debts.
Yes, we have.
I became debt-free. Everything. My living situation, which was an RV, was paid off. Cars paid off. Student loans paid off. And then we bought a house. And then we took out a car loan because it's what the season demanded, because our brake lines went out 3 times while we were driving. Like, there just are things that, sometimes we can go in and out of seasons of taking on loans. But I think the key there is eyes wide open with it, knowing what you're stepping into and having it be a very informed decision.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what else is an informed decision that we've made since day one?
This one is truly one that we have to do, and we also want to do.
The Bill of the Week.
That's right. It's time for the best minute of your entire week. Maybe a baby was born and his name is William. Maybe you paid off your mortgage. Maybe your car died and you're happy to not have to pay that bill anymore. Duck bills, Buffalo Bills, Bill Clinton. This is the Bill of the Week.
Hi, Jen and Jill. Unfortunately, I am back with another Bill of the Week. My name is Riley. I realize that I've never actually introduced myself, but I am the head of school at a Montessori preschool. And last week I decided to get fish for the Children's House classroom, which is ages 3 to 6 years old. And so I went to the store and I bought 12 little glowfish and the plants and the decor and all the things and set up this tank, and the kids were so excited. And the next day we came in to an absolute fish massacre. The plants in the tank had killed every single fish, speared their bodies, sliced the fins. It was horrible. There were just bodies everywhere, and all the kids saw. So I went back to the pet store, told them what happened. They did give me a refund for the fish and the plants, and we're going to try again with new fish and new plants that hopefully will not kill them. So, the kids learned about the cycle of life, and, just wish us luck on this next attempt with new fish. Okay, well, I hope you guys have a better week than my fish did. Bye.
Riley, I am dead. I am unwell.
Not as dead as the fish, but we're dying over here, Riley.
I can't keep it together.
Good saga.
The bodies. I can't keep it together.
You really painted a good picture, and I'm living there with you. You think it's unfortunate that you're calling us back, but we think we are so fortunate to be hearing from you.
5-year-old, what would happen if he walked in on it? And I'm thinking about his reaction. Oh my gosh, I am unwell. I cannot carry on.
I'm not so certain that they learned about the cycle of life as much as they learned about the risks and dangers of life. There wasn't really a cycle. There was just a beginning and an end that didn't have to be. But I'm assuming your bill is that you're refunded bill.
Yeah, I hope that's it.
I hope that fish store gives you new things just for free now because
of the emotional
toll.
You can sue for the emotional expense that has happened to you and all the preschoolers.
Wow. Doing the most for those kids.
Wow. This is gonna be one I remember. We always get asked the most memorable bills of the week. And this is by far going to be one of
them.
Those bills that I remember.
Oh man, if you all are listening and you've got anything anywhere close to this story, we would gladly welcome it. Who cares how you weave in a bill?
This is why people listen to this show, that right there.
Who even cares if it involves a bill?
Anymore.
Frugalfriendspodcast.com/bill. Leave us your bill. We can't wait for it. How do I get my partner on board with our finances? It's a top question we get from listeners, and we've realized it's a game changer when there are tools that allow you to work together better, like Monarch.
Monarch is the top-rated all-in-one personal finance app. It gives you a comprehensive view of all your accounts, investments, transactions, and more. Create custom budgets, track progress toward financial goals, and collaborate with your partner. And now get an extended 30-day free trial when you go to monarchmoney.com/frugal.
Unlike other personal finance apps, Monarch's simple design makes it so easy to set up and manage your household finances. Plus, they have built-in collaboration features so you can invite your partner at no extra cost.
After trying out Monarch myself, I understand why it's the top-rated personal finance app. And right now, listeners of this show will get an extended 30-day free trial when you go to monarchmoney.com/frugal. That's monarchmoney.com/frugal for your extended 30-day free trial. Go to monarchmoney.com/frugal for an extended 30-day free trial.
Hey! No, too basic. Hi there. Still no. What about, hello, handsome? Ugh, is it possible to give yourself the ick? Yep, it's possible. Ugh.
Well, that's why we're changing how you start conversations on Bumble. You can now make the first move or not. With opening moves, you simply choose a question to be automatically sent to your matches, then sit back and let your matches start the chat. Download Bumble and try it for yourself.
When you're in the market for a new car, you want a vehicle that conquers your daily commute, easily handles the elements, and looks great too. You need the reliability of a Toyota and the confidence that your investment will last. Why? Because after all the carpools, shopping trips, and weekends out, you want a car that still has plenty of miles left in it and holds its value for a great trade-in deal. That's where Toyota leads the pack as the #1 resale value brand for 2024, according to Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com. So check out the all-new fully redesigned 25 Camry or test drive a stylish and affordable Corolla sedan or hatchback. And remember, when you choose Toyota, you're not just buying a car for today. You're investing in trade-in value for tomorrow. Visit buyatoyota.com, the official website for deals, for more. Vehicles projected resale value is specific to the 2024 model year. For more information, visit Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com. Kelley Blue Book is a registered trademark of Kelley Blue Book Co., Inc. Toyota, let's go places.
Had enough of those supplements that leave you feeling nothing? Symbiotica is your solution to great-tasting, all-natural supplements that actually work. Crafted with premium plant-based ingredients, their products have no seed oils, fillers, or artificial nonsense. It's just pure goodness in every pouch. Try them out and actually feel the difference today. Visit Symbiotica.com and use code IHEART for 15% off plus free shipping on your subscription order. Again, that's 15% off plus free shipping on your subscription order. Go to Symbiotica.com. That's CYMBIOTIKA.com.
"Let me just run this by my lawyer" is a really helpful phrase to have in your back pocket. Legal Shield has been giving legal peace of mind for over 50 years. They connect you to a vetted law firm in your state for an affordable monthly fee. Want an experienced set of eyes on a contract's fine print? Or you finally want to get that will done? Legal Shield has a dedicated group of lawyers who have your back, no matter what the future brings. Sign up today at LegalShield.com/iHeart. PPLSI does not provide legal representation or advice. See a plan for complete terms.
And now it's time for the lightning round. Pew, 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 pew.
All right. How do you use social media to stay motivated to your goals?
Oh, just goals.
Yeah, it says financial goals, but I would say like there's all kinds of goals you can have that social media can hurt, but also help you with. So how do you use social media to stay motivated? For me, I follow some fitness accounts, Docless Fitness, I think, or Docless Fit. Dr. Alyssa, I've followed her for so long. She's a runner and a strength trainer, and her PhD is in women's like health because there's so many like studies on like health related to men, but not for women.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love following her because she just debunks all these fitfluencers that are like, stop doing cardio and stop doing this trendy thing. Just walk on an incline for 15 minutes. Like she just debunks all that. And she's like move in a way that makes your body feel good. Do both cardio and strength. So she's just like inspiring to me.
That's cool.
And then for food, I'll also follow because I have goals to cook at home more. Always. It's always my goal forever in my life. My goal will always be cook at home more. Because it is always a struggle. And so I will follow food accounts
and save recipes to help me meal plan and just quick things that ingredients I can keep on hand, like emergency meals when I don't feel like cooking what I meal planned, or I forgot to meal plan for a day, something like that. So I think that those two are my biggest ways that I do that. But when I was doing the No Spend Challenge, I obviously posted on social media every day, and that was a really great way to stay accountable. And now my goal is to post on social media every third day.
Yeah.
That is my goal. And so I think I'm also following social media accounts to help me with my social media goal.
Yes. Oh, that's so true.
So
Somebody
meta.
made a statement recently that was a little bit challenging about not just being a consumer of content, but also a creator of content. And everybody's got to decide what works for them when it comes to the whole social media thing. But I am 100% a consumer of Instagram, and I am a 100% non-creator on Instagram.
And I think so much of what I loved about Kelly's story is that she was vulnerable and she created content, not to become an influencer, which is what everyone thinks creating content on social media should be. If I can't be an influencer, why would I even post content at this point? No. It is so much more effective to create content to keep yourself motivated than it is to consume it.
Yeah. And I think also the outside of yourself piece, that you could connect with somebody and help them in some way rather than just taking, also giving. I liked that perspective. It was helpful, especially for those of us who need to do it more.
There's such blurry lines too. Like being vulnerable on social media does not mean you're vulnerable with every part of your life. It doesn't mean you're showing pictures of your kids or your partner or like all of the stuff you're going through. Like if you're trying to reach a goal and just being vulnerable, putting your successes and your failures on social media as a way to keep yourself accountable, as a way of keeping a journal of your journey. When you look at it that way, it becomes a much safer space.
Yeah.
And again, like I love this quote from, now I'm blanking on her name, Nicole
Jonesy Burke.
No, I share my scars, not my scabs. I don't know. Maybe she wasn't even the one that said it. But I share what I have healed from, not what I am healing. Like
what I'm currently, healing
so
through.
That's a really good picture that I've taken through. But even within your journey, you don't have to share the hardest parts that you're still processing to be able to share things that, you know, you have learned and things that were struggles that you made it through and celebrate that. So there's the lines are so blurry on how to use social media as a tool, but you get to make the rules.
Yeah.
You get to decide what to post. Do not let an algorithm or influencers kind of guide you in that.
Yeah, the accounts that I like to follow, similar to you, food accounts, they are really helpful in getting me creative about what I want to try and make, finding new recipes, learning new techniques, getting me excited about making a meal plan. If I feel like I'm in a rut, I'll just go to my favorite food accounts and scroll through what they've got. And so many of them also have it clumped together in different types of grouping. So if there's specific types of things that I'm looking to add to my meal plan, whether it's a breakfast or a dinner or salad or you name it, flatbread, they usually have it categorized in ways like that to be able to find what you're looking for. I also follow local accounts, which helps me to find things that I want to do, free events I want to go to, places I want to check out. So that's been really cool. There's a handful of local accounts for both St. Pete and Tampa and just Florida in general to be able to think about staycations, which is an episode that we did recently on how to just stay local and have some new adventures and experiences, but at a more cost-effective rate. So that's helping me stick to that goal, getting excited about what can I check out?
Yes.
Anyways, everyone, thanks for listening. We really appreciate you being here for as long as you all have been here. And we also love when you take the time to give us a review. It really, really helps us, helps other people find us, like this one from Mike Job. It says, super show about saving, 5 stars. The hosts, Jen and Jill, talk about their methods of saving money. They offer super helpful information in a non-boring way. I tend to be a dummy with money and just go nuts, but I'm trying to change now that I'm an adult, and I think this show will help out for sure. Amazing.
Hey, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
I'm glad. I mean, you're one of our, small but loyal male fan base. I mean, I assume. I have never met a woman named Mike, but I'm so sorry if my ignorance is showing. So thank you. We are always trying to be as accessible to as many people as possible. So thank you for your kind words, Mike.
Yes. Again, thanks for being here. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Frugal Friends is produced by Eric Siriani.
Okay, so this morning, I told you this, but this morning I was carrying my 18 cups in from the gym. And I get to my door and I hear a soft buzz. And I look down and there is a bee on my Stanley cup. The Stanley cup that I did not buy, but I got as a gift and I use because I like it. It has a handle. And when you carry 18 cups, a handle is nice. But there was a bee on the Stanley. And so instantly we drop Stanley. He falls to the ground onto the brick. And he has some scarring from the fall. But you know what? I am embracing this like unaesthetic
Is it a scar
life.
or a scab? Are you sharing too much vulnerability on behalf of Stanley?
I think he's healed. One thing I will say is that normally when I drop cups and they dent in this space, like on the bottom, they usually start jiggling when I put them down. And Stanley is remaining pretty stable. So maybe that's like a win for Stanley. Still not worth $50 by any means. But Stanley did, didn't have a lot of time to brace for impact, but did survive the fall. But I am embracing an unaesthetic life now. And so kind of this I just feel is right for me. To have this cup with like scratches that has a slight tilt, but who doesn't? Like we all do.
Yeah.
And I feel like now I feel better about carrying
So like you
this.
threw it on purpose almost.
I mean, I threw it on purpose because there was a bee on it. I didn't throw it. I just dropped it. I was just like, shweep.
Yeah.
All of the other things that I was holding are like very durable plastic. This was the one thing that was like expensive and kind of scratchable. But
you're going for a really worn out, lived in look.
Not worn out, but lived in. Yeah. Worn in, lived in. That's the space I want to be on social media. I want my words to permeate into the phone and give me that algorithm.
Wow. We'll all be watching with bated breath to see what happens every third day.
We'll see.
There's no distance too far for the perfect trip.
Hi, checking in for...
Or the perfect table.
Hey, where are you?
Coming! And when you get access to Resi Priority Notify with your Amex Platinum card...
Hey, this looks amazing. I'm so glad you made it.
And travel benefits at fine hotels and resorts booked through Amex Travel, it's worth the trip. That's the powerful backing of American Express. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/withAmex.
Hey! No, too basic. Hi there. Still no. What about... Hello, handsome? Ugh, is it possible to give yourself the ick? Yep, it's possible. Ugh.
Well, that's why we're changing how you start conversations on Bumble. You can now make the first move or not. With opening moves, you simply choose a question to be automatically sent to your matches, then sit back and let your matches start the chat. Download Bumble and try it for yourself.
You know that vibe? When you're riding in your all-new Camry and that cousin calls. The one who always tries to one-up you.
I mean, yours is fine and all, but...
Not even a hello. It's straight into better job, boyfriend, vacation spot. Your response? Brushing the dirt off your shoulders. And pulling up in the all-new Camry. 225 horsepower, bold grille, available 19-inch wheels, and wireless charging. Who has the better what now? Thought so. The vibe just shifted in your favor with the all-new Camry. Toyota, let's go places.
So, the quarterly projections are, in the red area there. And these numbers, I guess, should be higher.
This doesn't make any sense.
Wait, you're not even our finance director. Who are you?
Oh, I'm the delivery driver. Anyone order the noodle bowl?
We need a receptionist.
No, we need Sign-In App.
From managing visitors to risk reduction and office scheduling, trust Sign-In App for your confident workplace. Cloud secure with app convenience. Sign-In App keeps your office and business on track. Start for free at signinapp.com.
You know that feeling when you walk into your home, take a deep breath, and feel new? Well, that's what it's like to use Clorox Scentiva. Because Clorox Scentiva smells like coconut, cleans like Clorox, and feels like energy. It'll elevate any cleaning routine to not just clean, but also make every room smell like a tropical coconut getaway. Discover how Clorox Scentiva's powerful clean and refreshing scents can transform your space. Get yours in coconut or other fabulous scents at a nearby retail store.